call the meeting to order, and we'll say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, call this meeting to order. We follow the Robert's Rules of Order. If you have any questions regarding tonight's meeting, please feel free to talk to any one of the board members for clarification. We'll have time for public comments in a bit. Do we have any addition or deletion of items to the agenda? Guessing no. And now it's time for public comments. This is a section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about the agenda item. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any public comments at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to our action item. Up is elementary playground relocation. Board action is required to approve the relocation of the elementary playground equipment. I would entertain a motion for the same.
You'll need a motion to accept the bid of not more than $59,000 to relocate.
Okay.
We Build Fund is the company. We'll have to say that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I don't see any alternative. I know I wasn't here at the last meeting. Can I make a comment first? Or do you want to do the motion then?
We need the motion first and then we can
Sorry,
discuss.
let me jump in.
That's okay. So, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve the bid to move the elementary playground up to $59,000 that we accepted. Support.
Discussion.
I wasn't at the last meeting. Chris gave me a lot of good information.
Good.
Have we approached buying that strip of property, possibly?
We talked about that at the last meeting.
I wasn't here, that's
yeah,
what I'm asking.
it's okay.
I'm asking. So good to
It's
speak.
got multiple owners
Oh, right.
who probably aren't
Yeah, I think I know the background of why that sign appeared and all that
from,
stuff. So.
you know, they're not
I
Okay.
have
our best friends.
Sure, exactly.
I had a conversation with the homeowners that are right on the end last week. Had a good conversation. Explained to them that we need a parking lot there regardless. That it's something for the safety of our students and also for parking for when we have events and things. And it was in the works that the acceleration of that took place because of the sign. They said that they do not mind us using their private road. They'd like us to fix it because of the bus use that's been on there. They also talked about an agreement that they say, one of them said that back in 2010, it was torn up to put a new water line in between Division and Elementary, and that there was a handshake agreement of some sorts between the school and the village that we would work together to fix the road back up. But they said they had talked to Chris Mathis and he was unaware of any agreement like that, and I'm not aware of any agreement like that. I have scheduled a meeting with Chris for Thursday to talk to him, and we're going to try to figure that out. I did tell them that it was my intent that when we got the parking lot put in that we would put some gravel down to try to at least level it out, but that I couldn't justify recommending to the board any kind of certainly not asphalt or anything like that without some sort of easement, because anytime they want, they can put a sign up like they did. And I also asked them in the future if they have a concern or problem about, instead of calling the police or putting a sign up, they should just call me and talk to me about it. And they said they were advised by Chris Mathis to put the sign up in order to give the village police the authority to pull people over who were speeding through there. So, I said, you have to understand when you put a sign up like that facing the school that says, residents only, private drive, that tells me you're saying, or at least someone on that road, I didn't know who, is saying you can't use this anymore. So, but that being said, like I had said, I tried to make clear at our meeting earlier this month was that, the plan to expand that parking lot, be able to block, then put a fence up to keep our kids safe, because right now anybody can drive their vehicle right back in, right through the playground where kids will play, and that's not really safe in this day and age, way for things to be. So that was something that I already had in the works, I've been talking about, I've gotten some numbers on. We had decided earlier this summer that we weren't going to be able to get it done before school started, so we were going to delay it and try to focus on it next summer. Then the sign kind of accelerated that, which is why I came to the board. Sarah and Patrick did look at the bids they got on the asphalt and selected Excel Paving in Coldwater. Had a bid of $171,400 and something, which was under the cap that you had set. The company that installed the playground back in 2021, and at that time they only installed, what I learned after this was, they only installed the one large piece. The rest of it was already there from prior year. And so that one large piece was about $20,000 to install. And it was, and the cost of the piece was around $20,000. The total was $43,000. So it doesn't surprise me then that, I was thinking that was my fault. My understanding when we talked about it was put in, Sarah and I would talk. She said it was put in 2021. I thought the whole thing was, but it was just that one piece was put in 2021. There's a lot more equipment there, and so now I understand why to actually move all of that is quite a bit more than that. The bid I got was roughly $60,000. He since reduced it a little bit. I got him to reduce the price a little bit. But it is $54,000 plus if some of the ties that go around the outside, if some of those can be moved, we won't buy new. We may have to replace some of them, so it could be up to as high as, I would say, just under $59,000 for their cost. We're going to try to move as much of the wood mulch over as we can, but likely we'll need to, maybe bring it over maybe 2/3 of it, and then we'll have to put some new over the top. So that will be an extra amount, which I believe will be somewhere around $4,000, something like that, in order to get it, back to where it needs to be. So that's what the whole amount is. I have tried to think of another option for parking, and I just, given how we're kind of landlocked down there, I don't see any other possibility to expand park other than to go into that area. If you have an idea, or if anyone else does, I've asked any number of people, and no one else seems to have one either. So it really seems like the only alternative.
Yeah, when you sent me the scope, I appreciate that. It was very clear that what you've done, I think it's a very reasonable price.
My only question would, you only have one bid because there's only one company that can do it, right?
Yeah, we actually brought in another company that does playground equipment, and I met with him Monday morning, and at 9 o'clock, he and the representative from Excel were both there, and we talked about, actually there were two guys from their company were there, and they sell and install a different type of playground equipment. They said they would work up a price to move it. However, they also told me that based on that large piece of equipment to dig up, there were a number of areas where it's in concrete. I mean, every pole that goes into the ground is in concrete. And based on that, and the fact that that equipment is not theirs, if they break something, they would have to go try to buy it from the Miracle, which would add quite a bit to the cost. And
They break it.
he said, from his perspective, it would probably be cheaper if we just bought and installed a whole new playground from what he was going to bid on it, which would have been, he quoted me a new playground is for the equipment being $80,000 to $100,000 for the equipment. So it turns out there's probably at least $100,000 worth of equipment down there of that Miracle and other. There's some other older equipment too. So it does not surprise me now what the cost of it, moving that is. It's unfortunate that it's where it is, but it's the only place really for expanding parking.
Logically speaking, we were going to do this quickly because of the sign, but in retrospect, that's not a big deal. But even if we wait, we're still not going to get. I mean, we're not, because we're pushing to do it. It's not.
We're not going to save any money if we put it out.
Right.
to
Correct.
bid.
So
Yeah.
basically, either we do this or we don't because we need a parking lot. We're not hurting ourselves by doing it faster, getting this company going. So I want to make sure that we're clear on that.
The two homeowners I met with down there said that, you know, that we were welcome to continue driving our buses on there. They just want us to fix the road, and they are concerned about the speed, and that will actually make it a bit easier for us to actually we can actually proceed with the construction, and you know, we will turn on the asphalt and just go down that road when school starts, like we have been. But all the construction will take place, you know, off the asphalt, and so they will be able to do all the work they need to do. We'll just put up a fence around it to keep kids out of it, and then kindergarten students will be without a playground. The company that sold the Miracle equipment and the ones that will do the We Build Fund, I keep forgetting the name, We Build Fund, said that it will take 2 to 3 weeks to move it and have the new playground up and running. So the kindergarten would be without that specific playground for just 2 to 3 weeks, which I think is pretty reasonable. I know there was more downtime when we're doing the other construction down there, so the last time.
Did they give any idea on when they could potentially start it?
They were not, he was not willing to say, oh yeah, we'll have that all moved before the school year started, but once we give them the go-ahead, he thought they would make every effort to move it before the school year started, but that it might go into the first couple of weeks of the school year. So best case scenario, it'll be moved and the kids will be able to play, and then the parking lot will go in as they get it built. Worst case scenario, you know, they'll have a 2 or 3 week period without a playground for the kindergarten, and they'll just have to use the other playground equipment.
I would say because we need a new parking lot, yes, so we have to move that. Is there a reason to wait? No, this is the right company because it's gave us a decent quote. We already asked other companies. I don't see any other logical decision of what we're doing.
Right.
Oh, and there probably will be a little bit of cost of moving a couple of trees. I forgot to mention that. There are 2 pretty young trees that we have to put in down there, and we'd like to try to save those. We're trying to find out if there's someone who could do that and save that and move those for us. And hopefully they won't charge us too much. But just one of those. I don't know what you call those.
Tree
Now.
spade,
Yeah.
Tree spade. There you go.
shovel.
Not a shovel.
The new parking lot will allow the buses to turn around. It'll be wide enough
Yes,
to turn
it'll
around.
be wide enough that, and they will be able to turn around in the parking lot and go right back out, yes.
Side note, if anyone wants to start a gym equipment company, playground equipment company with me, let me know.
Right.
Evidently, that's where the money's at.
Kind of looks that way, doesn't it?
It has gotten very expensive. That piece of equipment, that largest piece down there that we put in 4 years ago retailed then for, I think he said it was $27.99 or something like that. And now it retails for over $40,000.
Yikes.
So it's, yeah.
It's crazy. I said it's what it is. But you get it. It's got to be done.
It-
And like you said, Darren, if you do it now or later, it's don't harm no foul.
And I spent quite a bit of time talking to Chris the other day, and it was every question I had, he had an answer for.
Yeah, I like I said in this meeting, I asked a couple questions via email and the scope. First, like $170,000 for asphalt, but then I saw the scope. I'm like, oh, that's
More than
definitely
asphalt,
explained. Yeah,
asphalt.
concrete removal, some catch basins, and all that stuff. That's
Yeah.
and yeah, that's not a bad price. If you 75,000, that's probably just the asphalt toppings. So
More than my first house.
Same. That piece of playground equipment is moving my first house.
Mine too. Mine too.
anyway,
No, moving the police.
I appreciate you giving me that information, Chris. It was very helpful. I'm sorry, this meeting was up north. My son came to visit from DC. So.
Was there any other discussion regarding our motion on the table?
I just want to say real quick, briefly, and I'll probably say it in the next meeting too, because this isn't really well attended, but just to echo what Chris said, that I spoke to a person who was on Pollyanna Court, and I told them that I would tell the board, tell the public that they were willing to work with us. That if it was assumed or implied or said at the last meeting that they were not willing to work with us, that's not true. So I just wanted to say that publicly, because I said I would.
I didn't mean to imply that. I hadn't heard from anyone, and I didn't know who.
Like I said, I don't know if it was said or
Was-
implied, but I just wanted to clear the air that they were not unwilling to discuss with us. So, but I'm not accusing you of not talking. I'm just saying that they aren't.
Just a
bad.
miscommunication. It sounds like.
They're not bad people.
No, they're not.
Okay. However that comes out publicly, I wanted to say that.
It just seems, I think, for me, I was concerned because of the sign.
Yep.
You know, the whole, we don't want you on this road animosity sort of situation. So it's good to hear that. I appreciate that. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. And next is going into adjournment. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Discussion?